Hey everyone, it's Nova. I'm going to show you guys in this video my top 10 most used tarot and oracle decks of 2024. First, I wanted to make a top 10 used decks, but then I thought to myself, since I almost always use tarot and oracle together, sometimes also tarot and tarot, oracle and oracle, but since I always pair decks, I thought it's actually a fun idea to show you guys my top 10 pairings. And these are Oracle and Tarot. Like each pair that I'm going to show you is one Tarot deck and one Oracle deck. So technically, this is going to be my top 10 most used Tarot decks and top 10 most used Oracle decks of 2024, but then in pairs. So I'm going to show you 10 pairs. Let's start with the first one. I paired Mother Mary Oracle by Alana Fairchild, published by Blue Angel, with Hettienne Gobler's The Mysteries of the Black Madonna Tarot. I did this like in November, I think. The whole November, October and November. So, oh, by the way, I have the large version of the deck because this also comes in a pocket version, but I have the large version, but I did trim the borders. So it is now the pocket size, but then the good thing is that I still have the massive guidebook because I actually really like Alana Fairchild's guidebook for this one. I like her write-ups for most of her decks. So I have then two beautiful guidebooks, Mother Mary guidebook and also Hettienne's guidebook, which is not now here with me, it's upstairs. So for this pair, I was using the guidebooks. And you know, both guidebooks are very hefty. So what I was doing most of the time, I pulled one card from the Mysteries of Black Madonna and one card from Mother Mary Oracle every morning for like maybe 40 days, 50 days, and I would read the guidebook for both of them. And I was busy reading and contemplating on the messages for like half an hour every morning. Look at these. This is a really good pair. I mean, not only the looks, but the messages. Yeah, look at this. It's gorgeous, right? I'm sure I'm not the only one who has done this. I'm quite sure a lot of people have tried this pair. But look. It's really nice, right? So this was the first pair, and I can say that I have used this pair for like 40 times at least, because I think I started mid-October and I went on till end of November, and I did that every single morning. This pair really works, but you do have to read the guidebooks for them, or maybe you don't, I don't know. If you are very familiar with the Mysteries of Black Madonna Tarot, maybe you don't need to read the guidebook, but I did. One of the first pairings that I did, January last year, January of 2024, was this too. The Relative Tarot by Carrie Paris and Ancestor Spirit Oracle Cards by Jade Sky. So this one is the mass market version, and this deck has a whole system, but I was not using the system. The system is explained in the guidebook. I did not use the system though. I just used the cards like a standard RWS. And this one, is this a Blue Angel deck? Yeah, it is. So this one, I was reading the guidebook. I would read the whole guidebook. It does have the ancestors speak. So this part is like your ancestors' message, and this part is the divinatory meaning. But since I really enjoyed reading the guidebook, I was just reading it for every single draw that I did. So with this one, I did it this way. Because you have 3 keywords on each card, I would pull a tarot card for each of these keywords as if these are prompts. So for example, interact and relate is the title of the card, and then you have community for community. Page of Swords for family. 10 of Wands. You see, it's a very meaningful combo. And for traditions, 9 of Wands. You see, it's very interesting. So first I would get a message looking at the placements and the cards. So I would get the general idea and the general message, and then I would go to the guidebook and read this card and then contemplate more about the message. And it really worked. It was very interesting. Very meaningful and profound readings I got out of these two. So this, let me show you some of the cards. This is a beautiful oracle deck that was published a few years ago, and you see ancestors from all over the world. Many cultures are shown in this deck. The keywords are really good. The card titles are good. Upskill, work, career, crossroads. Earth magic, nature, rituals, charms. And I really felt that my ancestors were talking to me. Look at my edging. It really felt like my ancestors are talking to me. It was profound. This deck is also really cool. These are the bags. It comes in this gold gilding. The cards are larger than your standard tarot cards. It's collage. I know that there is another oracle deck called Beloved Dead Oracle. That one goes with this deck a lot better aesthetically. I know, but I don't have that one. And they did work very well together. I thought to myself, let me try it first with what I have, with the ancestor spirit, and let me see how it works. And they worked perfectly. So I thought to myself, I don't need to go and get the Beloved Dead Oracle. Maybe I will still one day. So this was the second pair. The third pair that I did the whole summer for like many times, like I don't know, maybe 40 times again, like 40 days I did this set. Goddess of Love Tarot by Gabriella Herstick and Oracle of the Roses by Sherilyn Darcy. So here, these are again both mass market decks. The summer vibes are so strong in both these decks. And I was experimenting to see which deities will come through, which goddesses, basically. And look at the gilding. This is from Rockpool. And these cards are matte and beautiful. And these are archetypal cards. So for me, the narrative was that I wanted to see if I can guess which deity is trying to communicate with me, looking at the personality or the characteristics, the archetypes that I would receive with this gorgeous deck. For example, the alchemist, the child, the explorer, the father, the gambler, the citizen, the artist. I would try to relate to these energies, and this is how I did it. Let me show you. So I would shuffle and put these together like this. And I did not read the guidebook for the tarot deck. I did read the guidebook for the oracle deck. The guidebook for this oracle deck is cool, like the mother. So it explains about the flower, and then the oracle meaning, ethnobotanical archetype exploration. Like here it says, describe what unconditional love means to you. And then the botanical notes, plant energies, these were very important. Like for example, for old blush rose, the plant energies are compassion, love, persistence, patience, strength. And then it gives deities here. Deities, Gaia, Isis or Isis, Terra Mater. And then astrological sign is Cancer. So I get the deities here. At each card, you would get the deities. And then with the messages I would get, I was trying to figure out which one of those deities was talking to me and what the message was. And this was very experimental and beautiful, as you see. This is such a beautiful pair. Just very joyful. I did a lot of deity work. As you're going to see now, most of my 2024 was deity work. You see? Really gorgeous pair. So it did work, I have to tell you. It did work. It made me go and study a lot about all these deities, and it was nice. I'm thinking I might do it again this summer, although I have a lot of decks that I have not worked with. But you know, sometimes when something works so well for you, you keep going back. So this was the third pair. The fourth one, again during summer. During summer, I also worked on Greek mythology. The tarot deck that I used is the Mythic Tarot, the out of print version. And the oracle deck that I use is the Greek mythology reading cards by Alison Chester Lambert. Illustrations by Richard Crooks. And these are the backs. This is such a cool deck. This is a mass market deck. So these are the backs. I've edged it myself. I did not use the guidebook for this deck because this deck has a very important guidebook. Each suit is a mythical story, but I did not want to follow that. I just wanted to have this Greek mythology looks on my tarot deck, because my focus was on which Greek deity or concept comes up, and then I would read the guidebook and I would look at the card next to it. This one is in order, so let's just keep it in order. So I would usually pull one card from each and read the guidebook for the oracle card, and then look how well they go together. And then I would look at the card that came out with the oracle card and would get a message from it. And this simple exercise works so well. The guidebook tells you the story, basically, the story of this concept or this deity and about their energy. Like, for example, Heracles, protector. Poor Heracles was persecuted by his stepmother Hera, but he survived her jealous tricks and became a great protector of humankind. Because humans took Zeus's attention, she disliked them. But Heracles took the role of a superhero demigod and acted as an intermediary between mortals and deity. How interesting, right? And then I would look at the card that came out with the deity. I would interpret what it means for me at that moment, especially regarding the question that I had. on my mind, or whatever situation I was in at the time that I was doing the reading. And it all made so much sense, exactly because this system of reading is so simple. It can give you so much. I really like both of these decks, and I think they work beautifully together because the tarot deck is very intuitive. Like, without reading the guidebook, you can still see a lot of story in each card. You see? This is such a beautiful pair. And they work very well together as well. If you have these two, try them out. This one is out of print, but there is another version of it, which is redrawn by another artist. Mass market available. It's called The New Mythic Tarot. You can get that one on Amazon. And this one, the Greek mythology reading cards, is a mass market deck, so this one is easily available. And this was the fourth. Next one. This one I did in the spring of 2024. So this one is the Intuitive Life Coaching Oracle by Kelly T. Smith, and the Enchanted Tarot by Amy Zerner and Monty Farber. I have trimmed my version. I have removed the color borders and kept the sharp edges because I really like sharp edges on many of my decks. See? This is the deck that comes in all those color-coded borders. I have edged it myself. These are the backs. Not bad, huh? And I have written the numbers of the cards here with a Sharpie. The Intuitive Life Coaching Oracle is such a good one. This is a mass market deck. It does have a guidebook. The guidebook is really good because it gives you questions. And I did use the questions every single time that I used this pair. For example, this is how I did it. The cards are very large, by the way. They are larger than Blue Angel cards. So I would shuffle and pull one card. Approval. Number 16. The key phrase is choose to approve of yourself and others will too. And then I would go to the guidebook. Sometimes I was reading the whole guidebook and sometimes I was not. I was just very much interested in the questions. It says, do you feel that you need to approval of others around you? If so, why? So for this first question, I would pull 1 or 2 or 3 cards depending on which cards will come out. If I felt like it needs another card or not, or if there were a few questions involved, like for example here, do you feel that you need the approval of others around you? If I ask myself this question, I would immediately say no. But I wouldn't do that. I would still pull a card because here I want to connect with my subconscious. I want to see what my subconscious has to say about this. So let's see. Here we have 4 of water. So you see how interesting this came out. No, I'm really not interested. I am really not interested in other people's opinion about me. I have passed this level many years ago, but good that I pulled this card. And then it says, if so, why? But here I don't need to pull another card. But let's say if it was a yes, then I would pull another card. And then another question says, how can you give yourself the approval you're looking for outside of yourself? So I would pull another card for that question. And then what is standing in the way of self-love? I would put another card for that as well. Or maybe after pulling one card, I would realize that no, it needs more cards. It all depends on the cards that you will receive for each question. But let me just show you how these two work together. The aesthetics of them, because they are both tapestry. You see, they are both collage tapestry. I mean, this one is not a collage, this one is just a piece of tapestry, but they do work really well together. I'm so happy with my deck, with this one. There are different versions of this tarot out there. One was recently published by Schiffer, and that one is like this size, is smaller size, and everybody really likes that one, but I like this one even better than that one. See? So this was the pairing that I did in the spring of 2024, and I had so much fun with this pair. This guidebook is good, and the Enchanted Tarot also has a guidebook, but I have never used it. It's actually a nice chunky guidebook. I have never used this, like I have never read a page of this. What a shame. Maybe next time that I'm using this deck, I will just grab the guidebook with it and read the guidebook at least for every card that comes out. Okay, number 6. This one is also very interesting. Number 6 is the Turkish oracle cards, Falnama, by Asli and Polat Kanpolat, with the Byzantine Tarot. This was an experiment, and I did that in the beginning of autumn. Like I started doing this reading with this pair at the end of September. I did use the guidebook for the Byzantine Tarot because it's awesome, and I did use the guidebook for the Falnama. They are both published by Schiffer. So let's see. So these are the backs of Byzantine Tarot. I've edged it myself, and this is the Falnama. I've edged this one too. About Falnama, it says Falnama is the name of a genre used in Turkish and Iranian literature and hails from the 17th century's Islamic traditions. Inspired by a book at Topkapi Palace Museum presented to Sultan Ahmed, the Falnama was used by oracles, miniaturized in vintage workshops, and written by Turkish and Persian poets of that era. This version uses 40 beautifully illustrated cards with traditional imagery called miniatures that are re-illustrated with contemporary perspectives. Keywords on the cards and short stories written as poems in the guidebook present modern interpretations, giving readers answers to their important questions or wishes in an easy-to-understand format. So this is the guidebook, short and sweet, and a lot of fun, especially for me because I am Persian. I understand a lot of these concepts. They worked really well, surprisingly well together. And for this one, I tried different types of setups. Like I had sometimes just like reading these two, just read the guidebook for this card. This is called Joj and Majoj. Joj and Majoj are two mythical personalities, personas, with Count of Cups. So I would get a message from this, would read the Byzantine Tarot, and I really enjoyed this this pair. It was very experimental, was very much outside the box, and I was just happy that I'm working with Byzantine Tarot finally. And I was happy that I'm working with the Falnama finally, because I have both of them for a few years and I never got the chance to work with them. So now, look at this. Beautiful, right? So I did it this way, and I would also have it like this way. Read them like this together. And it works in any way you want. If you have these cards, they work very well. Oh, let me show you some of the cards for this one. Salvation, Master, Rigor, Judgment, Paradise, Jealousy, Cedarwood, Union, Sleep, Wise Man. And this deck is so nice. It's so matte. Such an underrated deck. It's beautiful. It's just so much fun using this deck. It's guidebook. The Great Goddess Tarot by Lucy Cavendish, artwork by Jake Baddeley, with the Wandering Star Tarot by Kat Pierce. Look at the boxes together. This was a very surprising pair. Like, I was surprised how well these two decks worked, because the art styles are very different. So this one is a goddess deck again. I have so many goddess decks. I am going to make a video about all my goddess decks. These are the backs. I have etched it myself. So for this one, because this deck has a very specific system, I would only pull one card from this one and one or two cards from the tarot deck, and I would read the guidebook. You see, each card has a full 2-page explanation, really beautifully written by Lucy Cavendish. Like, it was such a joy reading this guidebook. Such a joy. Incredible. And then I would put it on my altar with the one or two tarot cards next to it. Look at my edging. These are the backs. This is the mass market version of this deck. So let's see. You see, they work really well together, right? The interesting thing about this deck is that you get 2 cards per deity. One is the invocation and one is the message from the same deity. And it worked really well with this tarot. The energies, not only the looks, but the energies worked really well. Especially because you have keywords hidden in each card in the tarot deck. The keywords worked really well together. These are the experiences that are tried and tested. I'm showing you in this video the ones that are tried and tested and worked really well. That's why I kept working with them, because they worked so well. This is a pair that I used for like maybe 30 times. And that's really a lot for me, because I have so many decks and I am trying to work with all of them as much as I can. It's impossible because I have like 500 decks. It's impossible to work with all of them in a year. It's even really impossible to work with half of them in 1 year. So when I tell you that I worked with a pair for like 30 times, that means really a lot. That tells you how happy I was with this pairing. Really brilliant goddess deck, this one. Blue Angel Publishing. Another one that I worked with during Samhain is Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle with Raven's Prophecy Tarot. And I have trimmed this deck, the Raven's Prophecy, but I'm going to buy the one with the orange borders as well because I really like that one too. I did trim the borders because it reads very differently without the borders. Look for yourself. I did use the guidebook for the Samhain Oracle. I did not use the guidebook for the tarot because I love these write-ups. The write-ups are from Lorraine Anderson and Juliet Diaz, and I really like their work, and of course the illustrations. So, but for this one, I did it like this. That's one of the ways that I read with it. But I also would pull just one card from this one and then do a whole reading around it. Like, for example, I would pull the graveyard as the topic of the reading, and then I would pull 6 cards, 7 cards, whatever cards I felt like from the tarot deck. But for the sake of showing you how this pair works, I'm putting it like this now for you to see what a beautiful pair this is. And again, this pair reads like a charm. It's so good. Trimming the borders on Raven's Prophecy caused its energy to be more raw, right? So beautiful. Here you have protection with Queen of Coins and Three of Wands. Coming of Winter with Knight of Swords and Knight of Earth. See? Please write in the comments for me which one was your favorite out of all these pairs that I showed you. I am very interested to know which one was your favorite. And also write for me which tarot deck, which oracle deck was your most used during 2024. That is also a good question that you can answer for me. Also, you can tell me which pair was your favorite in your own practice. Okay, 2 more to go. One that I did quite a lot last month during October, I think. October or November. Is The Wild Unknown Alchemy by Kim Krantz. And my own RWS. This is such a good pair. I think this deck needs to be paired with the RWS or a Marseille or a Tot, I mean the OG tarots. That's how I feel about it. I mean, it's up to you. So my deck has 2 sides. This is the paint side. It's called Paint. And this side is called Dreams. This side is black and white. Just look for yourself. This deck is a bit complicated, like not complicated. The concepts are new for most people, the Wild Unknown Alchemy. Therefore, I think that it works better if we pair this deck with the OG tarot. I do use the guidebook always, like I always read the guidebook when I'm using the Alchemy deck. The guidebook is brilliant. And then the other side, let me show you. And then this is the other side. What I do usually, like I have done quite a lot, which is very unique, is that sometimes when I'm using my deck, I use both sides in one reading. Meaning, I cut it in half, and then I have this side and this side. And that makes it even more interesting, of course. Right? If you want to know about my deck, I will put a link in the description box. It is available on Make Playing Cards. I have another RWS as well. That one also has two sides. I will put a link to the video about these decks. So yeah, look at this. I got very meaningful and fascinating readings out of this pair. Honestly, I believe, as I said, the Alchemy deck needs to be used with an OG tarot. It just works so much better. The messages are more clear. But that's of course just my opinion. Let me know if you have done it, or if you have tried the Alchemy deck with another tarot deck that really worked for you. Let me show you the guidebook. Incredible guidebook. So good. It's just a shame that the cards are not colored in the guidebook. And the last set that I used quite a lot, I think more than the rest of them. I think this is the number one most used. Elena Fairchild's Kali Oracle. And, oh, the guidebook is downstairs. The guidebook is really good. The guidebook for this deck. And Tarot El Dios de los Tres, published by Fournier, which I have modified. I have removed the white borders of this deck and kept the sharp corners, because I love sharp corners on most of my decks. Not all of them, but most of them. So this is just a discovery of mine, that these two decks read so well together. The messages are profound. It's like they were built for each other. Aesthetically as well. Right? What do you think? I was so happy with this pair. And I would again put these cards on my altar after every reading until the next day, so that every time I looked at them, I would remember the message for that day. Sometimes they would stay there for a day, sometimes for 2 days, but I kept going for days and days. I think I have done this for like 50 times, maybe, like 50 days. And that is massive. But now I know all these cards like the back of my hands. So guys, this was it. This was my video. Thank you so much for staying to the end, if you did. If you have not subscribed to my channel, maybe you consider doing that if you think you would like to see more of my videos. And I hope to see you in the next one.